Hello everyone, my name is Dalton and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a January wrap-up and February TBR. I actually had a really great reading month. I started off the year fabulously. I read 8 books. I'm not finished with the one yet, but I am doing a little bit of pre-filming, so I'm expected to be done with this book later today. There's going to be a couple more books that I'm going to mention that I've already started, but I'm not sure that I'll have enough time to actually finish them before the end of January, but we will see. So I'm just going to kind of tack those on at the end of my January wrap-up and beginning of my February TBR. And if you don't know, February is a great month normally for me. If you don't know, it is Black History Month, so I try to only read novels written by Black authors. This year will be a little bit different. Like I said, I did start a couple books that I don't know if I'll be able to finish in the month of January, and I don't want to put them on hold until March, so I am going to try to finish them like the first week of February, and then have the rest of the month to dedicate only to Black authors. But without further ado, let's get into my January wrap-up. Like I said, January was a pretty great reading month for me. I read 8 books total, but a couple of them were manga. I did actually start reading One Piece last year, and I continued on this year, and I read the second and third volumes. This is like the omnibus, so it has like all 3 of them, but I read the second and third of this. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's my favorite anime of all time. Love the manga. It's so good to actually like go back and read it, reread the story, get back in with these characters. It's been lovely. I've had a great time with it. I'm going to continue on with this throughout the year. I am so thoroughly excited to get to more of these, but I think I gave both of them 4 out of 5 stars. I'm pretty sure that's what I gave them. But yes, love me some One Piece. Continuing on with some more manga, I did actually start Jujutsu Kaisen last year, I believe. So I continued on with that as well this month because I'm currently like reading the manga and then I'll watch a few episodes of the anime. So I read the second edition or second volume of the manga. I loved it. I believe I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars as well. And then I also read the third one. I didn't love this one as much as the first 2. I'm not sure if the pacing was just off. We're doing a lot more like learning and that sort of thing, so not a lot happened in this one. I still found it very interesting, and I'm going to continue on with the manga, but yes, I think I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars instead of 4. Thoroughly enjoying them. I'm really enjoying like reading manga. It's very different for me. I've just recently, like last year, started reading a lot more like graphic novels and stuff like that, and I'm really enjoying reading some manga. The artistry is fantastic, and I really like that. Plus, they're just very quick reads, so if I do feel like I'm in a little bit of a slump, I'll just pick one of these up, read it in like half an hour to an hour, be done with it. I read a whole book, so it makes me feel better about my reading as well. So that's why I'm thoroughly enjoying some manga. And then this book I started in December, but I never ended up finishing it in December. I don't think I finished it until like the first or second week of January, and that is Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. I read My Dark Vanessa 2 years ago, I want to say, in 2021. It was my favorite book of that year. Honestly, it's one of my favorite books I've ever read. I love that novel so much. That pulls a lot from Lolita. So I wanted to read this last year. Didn't get to it, like I said, until this year, basically. I enjoyed it. My only problem with it is I think this could have been like a 100-page novella or a short story. I have an edition where there's like an author's note at the end, and Nabokov literally says that this used to be a novella that he turned into a novel. And I just feel like there was a lot of nothing happening, and we were just listing things and listing things and listing things. But the writing was beautiful, so I will give it that. I'm glad I read it, but overall it was not a new favorite novel of all time or anything. I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. And then after that, I picked up The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart, and I thoroughly enjoyed this novel. I was not really expecting it. Basically, this is following a whole bunch of characters, and I did have a little bit of an issue with that at the beginning. I thought there were an overwhelming amount of characters, and I wasn't able to like keep them straight. And I also just didn't care about some of them. But basically, you follow 2 main characters. You follow Lynn and Jovis. Lynn is the daughter of the Emperor, and she has lost all of her memories, and she's trying to gain them all back so she can learn the bone shard magic that her father knows, the Emperor. And it's about constructs, which are basically these little creatures that you put bone shards in to give them life, to kind of like animate them. It's kind of convoluted and confusing, but you do learn a lot about it over the course of this book. Basically, bone shards are something that are taken from the people who live in this empire, and it's basically part of their life force almost. So like if your bone shard is used for a construct, you can feel the toll that takes on your body and that sort of stuff. So it's very interesting. And then you follow Jovis, who is a smuggler who actually smuggles kids out from these bone shard. It's whatever, the ceremony where they have to give up their bone shards when they reach a certain age and that sort of stuff. And I found him to be so enjoyable. He was my favorite character out of this book. I cannot wait to continue on with this series. I think the third and final book comes out later this year. So I will need to get my hands on the second copy, but I was thoroughly impressed by this. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I ended up picking up was Less by Andrew Sean Greer, and I did not love this novel. It is basically following an older gay man. He's an author, and we kind of just see him traveling through all these different things because one of his exes is getting married, so he decided to make all these plans so he had excuses to skip the wedding. So we see him going to like Italy, we see him going to Morocco, Germany, a whole bunch of different places. And it wasn't bad, but like, I don't know how this won the Pulitzer Prize. I didn't think the writing was all that fantastic at all. I also just didn't really love Les as a main character. I felt like he was very whiny and like literally just go to 1 hour of therapy and this book would not have existed. You know what I mean? Like, I just felt like he just kept doing and repeating the same things and he wasn't learning anything about himself. He's also 50 years old. Like, do some self-reflection if your life is this bad and you're this like sad. I don't know. I didn't dislike it, but I did have quite a few issues. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because it was such a quick read. And like I said, I didn't dislike it, but there was just so much that happened that I didn't like. I just felt like it got repetitive. Like I said, the writing wasn't super good. It wasn't bad writing by any means, but I was also just kind of bored. I don't know. I didn't love it. I did not love it at all. He just needed to go to therapy for a month, honestly, and he would have been fine. This book would have never existed if Les had just gone to therapy. Then the last book that I read this month was The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. I don't have the dust jacket on this because I'm currently not finished. Like I said, I am pre-filming, but I am like 415 pages into this. Should be able to finish it tonight with no issues. This is another book that it's got too many POVs for me. I wish I understand multiple point of views in fantasy because it does a lot of work, especially if there's a large world and that sort of stuff. But like these newer fantasy novels, like why does this have like 8 point of views? And that's not really an exaggeration. We'll have a point of view of like a soldier and then he'll die. It does nothing for the story, in my opinion, to add that. 4 pages of this new person. None of the characters are that great, in my opinion. There's one character that I really love in here. Her name is Bimika. She is a pregnant lady. She is married to a general. She has the most interesting point of view in here. She is not the main character. I think we've got 3 or 4 chapters from her perspective. I don't dislike the main character, Priya, but I don't love her either. I don't know. I'm not done with it, like I said, but like right now it's just like a solid 3 out of 5 stars. Nothing really is standing out too bad for me. I do care about where this story is going, I guess. But I'm 400 pages in, and like I don't feel like this novel needed to be 400 pages, if that makes sense. But there's also so much going on, and some of it I don't even feel has been like explained well enough for me to understand. Regardless, not done, but I think I'm gonna end up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. It's an okay novel. Not gonna be a favorite. I do want to continue on. I do like Tasha Suri's writing. It's decent, but like I said, not even like, the writing's not even good enough to like bump it up to like a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm not reading this for the writing. I don't know. The next couple books I do want to mention just because I have already started them. So I'm going to move in and transition into like my February TBR, but hopefully I can finish at least one more of these. I'm just not sure that I'm going to be able to. But I have started, and I'm about 100 pages into Jade City by Fonda Lee. I am thoroughly enjoying this. I have just had to put it down a couple times because I am listening along to the audiobook. And some of my other audiobooks have just like almost been returned before I could finish this one. So hopefully once I finish The Jasmine Throne, I can get this done and pretty much read up. I do have this weekend off, so I will have quite a bit of time to read. Should be able to get this done before February, but I don't want to like put it in the wrap up part of this just because I am only 100 pages in. But I really, really am enjoying this. I completely see the hype of this novel. Basically, if you don't know, we are in the fictional city of K-Con, basically following a mafia gang type group of people. And they derive like their magic system from jade. That's how they get their power and their extra strength and that sort of stuff. I will say this again, too many main characters. Let's just cut it back to 2 or 3. We don't need 100 people in a book. I've forgotten quite a few of their names already, and I'm only 100 pages in. But at least with this novel, I feel like each point of view is interesting and adds something to the story that's being told. Whereas The Jasmine Throne, I was not feeling that. But yes, hopefully I am able to get this one done before February, but like I said, I'm not going to hold myself to it. Now this one, I know I'm not going to be able to finish before February, but I do want to get it done as soon as possible because I've been prolonging it for so freaking long, and that is The Mask of Mirrors. I have talked about this book enough. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I have read like the prologue and a chapter or 2 in this. I'm not super far along, but I have started it, so I just want to get it out of the way. But yes, I do want to finish this as soon as possible. Hopefully within like the first week of February, I am able to do it. It is pretty long, but I did really, really like the prologue in the first chapter. So I'm really not seeing, I don't think I'll have any issues getting it done within a week. So there's that. Now those are all the novels that I wanted to read this month, and just might have to push off a couple of them till next month. But here is the list of all the Black authors novels that I want to read, and I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, because this is an insane TBR, especially if I have to push 2 of my January books into February. Insane TBR, but let's get to it. The first novel that I want to try to get to is gonna end up probably being the easiest one, and that is The Taking of Jake Livingston. This is just a short little YA horror novel about ghosts, I believe. I bought it because it was on clearance. I don't really know a whole lot about it, but it is short. It's only like 200 pages or so, and I think I'll be able to finish this in like a day. So not too worried about this one. Hopefully I enjoy it. I've heard kind of mixed things about it, but I haven't read any YA in a while, so I wanted to give it a shot. Then the next book that I want to talk about is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. You've heard about this on BookTube. Everybody has. This is such a hyped novel. I bought it last year at some point. I just haven't had the time to pick it up. And I do have quite a bit of like literary fiction on this list, and I wanted to try to pick out a couple fantasy novels and that sort of stuff. This is a YA fantasy, basically a take on the Knights at the Round Table, I believe. Don't really know a whole lot more about it than that, other than everybody freaking loves this novel and I want to give it a try. So hopefully in the month of February, I will be able to get to this. Another one, I read his other book, Razorblade Tears, last year during the month of February, so I want to give S.A. Cosby another chance. Black Talk Wasteland here, I have no clue what this is about. I'm not going to read the back cover. I liked his writing enough. I think I'll enjoy this novel as well. I'm assuming it's kind of going to be like a little bit of a mystery thriller, kind of like the last one was, but like I said, I'm really not that sure about this. I just want to give him another chance, and I'm sure that I will end up liking it. So Another book, not really sure what it's about, but A Little Devil in America. I picked this up because he is a local Ohio-based author, and my one bookstore where I moved had a whole bunch of these copies signed. So I'm guessing he was probably at that bookstore before I moved, and I just didn't meet him. This starts out with a Toni Morrison quote. That's the only reason I bought it. Plus, it's signed, and I wanted to support a local-ish author. I believe he grew up in Columbus or Cincinnati, one of the two. But I wanted to give this a shot. It's not super long either. It is literary fiction, but it's like 200, maybe 300 pages. So it shouldn't take me too long. Plus, I just wanted to try a new author. Hopefully I like his work. Like I said, it had a Toni Morrison quote at the beginning. And that's really all it takes for me. So I have had this book on my shelf for quite a long time now as well, and that is Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. I have heard fabulous things about this. This is allegedly one of the best and weirdest fantasy / sci-fi novels in like the past 10 years. I mean, it won the National Book Award, or it was a finalist for the National Book Award. I thought it won another award, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I know that there is a second book out for this. I don't know much beyond that, to be honest, and I don't really want to. Kind of excited to go into this blind and just see what Marlon James has done. I'm not going to talk about this one too much because I've mentioned it a million times as well. I'm finally going to read this. I got to finish this. I got to get it done. The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois. Tried to read it like 3 times already. Get 100 pages in and then put it down for some reason. I'm going to force myself to do it this month. In the month of February, this book is going to get read. And I'm going to enjoy it too. And I know I'm going to enjoy it. Because I do enjoy the 100 pages that I read every time I pick it up. But for some reason or other, I put it down again. That's not going to happen. I am going to get this done this month. And I'm going to like it. Then the last one is another fantasy novel. I'm not sure that I'm going to get to this. I just bought the novel, but that is Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. I don't know anything about this other than it's sapphic, I believe. It's a fantasy novel. It just came out. Orbit published it. Orbit is probably the best fantasy publisher out right now. I have like a whole Orbit shelf up there. I have so many of their novels. Like I said, no clue what this is about, but I think I will enjoy it. Plus, sapphic. Who can say no to that? Like I said, I am going bold in the month of February. That's a lot of books for me to try to read and get to in the month of February. Hopefully I do pretty decent and I'm able to get most of them done. I'm not really too worried about getting them all done. I don't really care. Like I said in the last video, I am a mood reader, so it doesn't really matter to me. Hopefully I can get as many done as I can, but it's not really a big deal one way or the other. But let me know in the comments below what books you read in the month of January and what you plan on reading in the month of February. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.